This edition of ESPN FC here on ESPN Plus. Later on in the show, we'll be reflecting on that exciting Spanish Super Cup final, plus waxing lyrical about record-breaking Kun Aguero. But for now, let me introduce you to Ali Moreno at the table. Gab, how would you sum up their performance today?
Well, I mean, I think they felt like they were maybe gifted two goals early on. And, you know, from a position of strength, you expect them to dominate. But they didn't really do that. And I thought there were jitters at the end. That's why he changed it around, sent on Higuain. But, look, in the end, there's nothing you can say to Juve. They have lost one game in all competitions this season. And that's simply unbelievable.
Frank, for you, Juve big favourites now for the title?
Yes, they are. With the draw of Inter at home, you know, of course, Juventus will be, and they were already, for me, the favorite for the competition because of the experience they got and the resume they have. So, yeah, you know, when they have to score big goals, you know, they do it very quickly. After 7 minutes to goal, bye-bye, end of the story. So, yeah, I think they deserve.
Is it harsh for me to say, well, they weren't swashbuckling, they didn't particularly impress, they didn't do anything particularly that caught the eye today?
No, but that's been what they've been doing pretty much all season, as Gab mentioned. Lost one game to Lazio in all competitions. Getting the job done, have a big squad, I can change it around. The downside is that partnership had kind of formed at the back with Demirel and Bonucci, and now he's going to be out for a bit. Hopefully not too long from him. So De Ligt comes back again and tries to stake a claim for a regular place. But the three best teams, arguably, in Italy are not the ones that are going to be in the title race, which is Atalanta, Lazio and Roma. Because it's Inter Milan and Juve are probably going to be there at the end. They're not the two most attractive teams to watch at the moment in Italy, but they're the two most successful at the moment.
Get it done, isn't it? You won't really remember this game. Juve win the title come the end of the season, but it's 3 important points.
But this game is what seemingly every game has been for Juventus this year. And so I would look at it from the perspective of, if you're Juventus, you say, look, we keep winning. We know how to find ways to win games. Even if we don't play well, even if we're not head and shoulders above everybody else, we find ways to win games and get 3 points. If I'm the trailing pack, I'm thinking, man, they've only lost one game this year. But they're vulnerable. They're there for the taking. If we can get a run of results, if we can put some pressure, then maybe eventually, if you're Inter, if you hang on just enough, and then you can see Juventus eye to eye, maybe in that game you're able to beat them, because there are issues for Juventus. It's not a team that is going to run away from you. And so this is going to be close all the way to the end, because I do think that Juventus will drop points here and there. Eventually, all of these things, that this near misses, this pose, this penalty, this goal that goes your way, those things are going to turn around and go in a different direction, and Juventus is not going to be able to pull this result. So they either start playing better so that they can continue to get results, or Inter is going to have to be perfect from here on out and truly put pressure on Juventus and force them into a mistake.
There's this relentlessness, though, isn't it, from Juve? Been there, done that. We know what we're doing. We're the big boys.
Yeah, but you get the feeling it's a different. Even though yesterday they were not great, Inter Milan.
No, they were lucky in the end.
They were not great, and Conte will know that. However, you get the feeling the mentality around that team, that squad is different. Certainly from the manager's perspective, which I think radiates to the players. They may do some business in January, some consequential business that'll have a big impact in them. So I think Juventus are aware. Whilst they've had a challenge on occasions, and I think Napoli being the biggest one, I think it got down. The gap was the closest it got was 4 points over recent years as a challenge. I think they believe that Inter are not really going to go. Quite lucky, actually, because I was covering digital today.
Right.
And that involved watching Aguero score a hat-trick and Man City demolish Aston Villa. And so I didn't really get to see this game.
Oh, well, you missed a lot,
Before I tuned in for what was the other game? For Roma Juve.
For Roma Juve.
So if you do beg your pardon, I managed to skip most of this.
I tell you, I know who didn't skip it. Frank Leboeuf. What did you make of this? Surely from a defensive point of view, you can appreciate a 0-0 over 120 minutes.
No, you cannot appreciate those sort of games, you know, even if you were a defender. You know, I understand that money talks nowadays, and I can accept that a Super Cup final, Spanish Super Cup, can be played in Saudi Arabia. But there is something at the beginning of the game that I didn't feel is the atmosphere, the pressure of a final, the intensity or the expectation of the intensity. And it was missing. And I'm sure you would have it if it would have been played in Spain. And it's where I don't get it, it's where I don't connect. And after you have the quality of the game where, well, it seemed to be for me a pre-season friendly game. It started to be a final and a big derby when Valverde made this horrible foul, sacrificed himself, that I felt, oh, okay, it's a final and it's really a game Real Madrid against Atletico and it's not a friendly game. But otherwise, no, of course, I didn't enjoy the game. No too many chances, too many fouls between the two teams. Nothing exciting, sorry.
Gab wants to talk. Should we go to Gab?
Sure.
Gab, you can't say you enjoyed this.
No, I was just thinking, I mean, Frank put it well about sort of the overseas preseason friendly side of it. You get that feeling when you see Mariano Diaz come on, because like, I'm not going to go and defend Zinedine Zidane at all costs, but you go into that game without Karim Benzema, without Eden Hazard, without Gareth Bale. Atleti do what Atleti do. This was an old school Cholo performance, and either you get the early goal and then it goes wild. You get that crazy game that they had last summer in preseason, or otherwise it's going to be grounded out until the end. And I'm sorry, but if you play most of the game with Jovic, who did all right, I thought, and then you turn to Mariano Diaz, it's just not going to be the same thing.
Would you both have done what Valverde did, by the way?
Probably.
Situation. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I'm telling you, it's no understatement when it is the play of the game.
Yeah.
And a couple of things about that. Up until that moment, every time there was a ball going out of bounds, you could see Cholo Simeone saying, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Now, with 3 minutes to go, there's a red card. It's like, let's go, come on, play. Look, it's Atletico Madrid. It is old school Atletico Madrid, I suppose. It is what Cholo likes to do, but man, it does not do anything for the spectacle. And I guess there is no responsibility in Atletico Madrid to make this a show for anybody, but, well, I'll tell you, they were successful in not making it a show. The other thing I would say, MVP of the game, if you were to pick a good player out of this game, is Thomas Partey. So that tells you that there was no quality in the final third. Everything was playing in the middle. It was unwatchable, but Real Madrid won it.
Real Madrid happy, rubbing salt into the wounds once again of Barcelona. Of course, a lot of rumours surrounding Valverde and his future over the last 24 hours, and Xavi coming in to replace him. Gab, am I right in saying that that's not going to happen now, well, at least until the summer?
Well, it's not going to be Xavi. Xavi seems to have called himself out. There were rumors swirling around that they'd approach Ronald Koeman, which I'm skeptical about, but if they did, they want to look at their calendars. This guy's playing Euro 2020 in the summer. But certainly the other rumor is, how does Valverde feel about all this, all this sneaking around behind his back? Might he just say, guys, you guys think I'm the problem? Let me just go and walk out rather than, enjoy these last few months and without Luis Suarez as well. So they kind of, I think, pretty needlessly made a rod for their own back with this very ham-fisted way they went about things.
How does this affect the team at all? Like, you talk about it amongst yourselves kind of thing with what's going on and the rumours and them going to court Xavi?
Well, probably, yeah. I would imagine. As Gab said, this is all very public.
Yeah.
So, from Valverde's perspective, not that it'll come as a great surprise to him, but he knows the end is nigh for him. Don't know when it's going to be, but it's not going to be long. So he may take it into his own hands. The other side is with the Suarez injury, it's a big chance for Antoine Griezmann to step up and play that central role because he's been craving that. Knew he wasn't going to get it barring an injury to Suarez, so he's now going to get it. But the whole thing, the way they've gone about the business, the way they went about their potential pursuit of Neymar in the summer, again, it was a real mess. Now this, off hot-footing it to the Middle East for some, we're only going over there to see a few things and have a bit of a holiday and take in the good weather. Oh, and meet Xavi as well. So, the whole thing's just a bit of a mess, and if they don't get the results, then it'll change quickly.
If you're Valverde, you're thinking, well, I'm not going to walk. You're going to pay me off.
Well, of course. No, at this point, you're hanging in.
Yeah.
And you're saying, all right, I'm here. I'm doing a job. Oh, by the way, we're still, we're top of the table, right? We're up here. Isn't this where you want me? Okay, here's the other thing. If you're Xavi, part of the reason you don't take this job is because you just heard that Luis Suarez is going to be out for 4 months. So why would you jump into the middle of this when there are reasons as to why this team is struggling? And if you have followed this team this year, you know that the vulnerabilities are there. And part of that is the fact that if Lionel Messi is not scoring goals or Suarez is not scoring goals, they're not coming anywhere. Now you take Suarez out of that equation, makes it all the more challenging for Barcelona. This is a difficult situation for Valverde, for Barcelona, and for anybody who comes into this position.
As Craig mentioned, Frank, this is it now. Antoine Griezmann time to step up. You're playing in the position that you want to play in. Luis Suarez out for 4 months. It's really now his time to shine.
It is. Even if it's sad that even if I'm not a big fan of Suarez, that the guy is going to be out for 4 months, it's really true, as you said, and Craig said, that for Griezmann is the time to show his potential, that he can be the future of Barcelona at front and be helpful to Messi to again score goals. So hopefully he's going to show it, because the future is with Griezmann. I don't think the future is with Suarez, and it's the time to everybody to step up. Of course, Griezmann at first, but also Messi to show how he can be playing with Griezmann in front and be successful with him.
Why are you not a fan of Suarez, Frank? Because he bites people, or because you don't think he's a very good footballer? I mean, what
no,
is it?
it's true. It's true, Craig. It's mostly because of that. I think it's not the kind of player that I will want to play against, you know, because I think I'm not going to finish a game. He's not very fair play. He's not the type of player that I like watching, and that's it. It's just like that. I think what he did in Liverpool and after in Barcelona was exceptional. What he did against Uruguay, where, you know, he got sent off and teased the players, the other team after. What he did biting other players is not the type of player that I like, and I'm allowed to say it because you asked me the question.
Speaking of questions, of course, we always stay late to answer your questions over on Extra Time. You can check it out over on our YouTube channel. Stevie's talking about the lack of turnips that he was going to eat yesterday. Who became the top foreign goal scorer in the Premier League. His hat-trick puts him now 2 above Thierry Henry. 177 goals for the Argentine striker. An incredible record, Craig, from a striker who just seems to have done it all in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I think it was also the most hat-tricks.
Yes,
above
12, I think now.
12 above Alan Shearer, who, by the way, was able to do it with Southampton, Blackburn, and Newcastle teams. Certainly the first and the latter, who were nowhere near as dominant as Manchester City. Not to take anything away from Aguero.
It's injuries when he had time away. That Gabriel Jesus is a nice piece to have, but he cannot be the guy. It's a nice guy to have out there in the field. It's a nice option. He may score a goal here and there, but he cannot be the guy that carries that responsibility. Kun Agüero has been that guy for many years now. And I think what's most impressive about him in the Manchester City time is that he's gone through many managers. And Pep Guardiola did come in with, I think, a different mindset as to what he wanted up there. And yet, Kun Agüero showed flexibility, showed strength, showed character, and by the way, showed productivity. And that's why he's still playing. That's why he's still scoring goals, because this guy, there is a competitiveness about him that puts him a level above everybody else. And there's a hunger about scoring goals that just doesn't go away from Kun Agüero. It may go away from other guys, but not from Kun Agüero.
Frank, how would you go about, how would you relish the challenge of defending Kun Agüero?
Well, that must be horrible for the defenders, because the body type of Agüero is everything against a defender, a normal defender, pretty tall, like 6'1", and it's always hard to cope with those players. It's the type of player you're going to find mostly on the side, like you have Bernardo Silva, for example, or even David Silva a little bit behind him. But when you are confronted as a defender to somebody with a body type like Agüero, you know that you're going to suffer the whole day long, because you can't really touch him. He's going to fall very quickly. You can't really stop him because they're very fast. They can turn very quickly. So it's really players that you want to avoid, like I used to know, like Michael Owen, for example, players like that. Fantastic career, fantastic player, how to cope with. I mean, we remember that when we put the top players of the decade, he was named by any talent that we asked the question to.
City were good today overall, weren't they, Craig? Aguero aside in his goals, they're so good to watch when they like this.
They are, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that Premier League teams some of them can't put up a better fist than what we saw. And Villa are not the only ones. Not the only ones. And I understand there's a disparity, but come on. I mean, just so easy to play through them. And when you make it easy for teams with their calibre and their talent, they can showcase.
For Gabriel Jesus, for Sergio Aguero, all those guys who are drifting in the back post, it's a dream come true. This ball is coming down. You already know that he's going to hit that ball. You believe in his skill level because you've seen it time and time again. You make that run knowing full well that he's going to put it in a place in which only you can finish it. And man, all you're thinking of, this pretty ball is coming my way, and I'm celebrating on that corner over there. This is how simple Kevin De Bruyne is making these services look.
City against Real Madrid is going to be fun in the Champions League, of course, next month. Meanwhile, let's just check out what happened in the Championship over the weekend. West Brom still just ahead of Leeds by 1 point. Meanwhile, it's Brentford, Fulham, Forest. And here in the studio, we've got Gab, we've got Frank with us as well. Who would you depend your life on between Lukaku and Higuain to score in a big game? Who are you going for?
Higuain.
Higuain?
Yeah.
Man, I have seen him miss in big games.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. I'm going to go with Higuain, but slightly.
Higuain?
And feeling very, very much in danger of my life ending very quickly.
Gab?
I don't like this question because we remember the high-profile misses. I'll go with Lukaku because, you know what? He's played in fewer big games than Higuain, so I'm going to assume he's had fewer big game misses.
All right, then. Which country has the better cuisine, Frank? Ooh. France or Italy?
Oh, that's a hard question. It's like fashion. I'm really fond of the Italian cuisine, so I don't want to be critical too much with them. But I think the variety of what we can offer is more important than Italy. But they have a fantastic cuisine, so I like the Italian cuisine. I don't want to critique too much the Italian cuisine.
But you say France is better?
But we are the best. Of course, we are French. Come on.
Gab?
You know what? As somebody who actually loves French cuisine and has a place in the south of France and loves that part of the world, I will very respectfully say, you are. This is very much sort of LeBron, Kobe type. You're in that echelon, but I do agree that France probably has better variety. I would argue that we probably have better produce and better raw materials.
What? You go for Craig, France or Italian?
Italian.
Yeah, I think I go Italian as well.
Yeah, I like both, but that would be my first port of call.
Yeah. Ali?
Right now, I'm on a diet.
Oh, God, no carbs.
No carbs.
No carbs.
Italian food, it's difficult.
What do you think Stevie would say?
I don't know. He couldn't.
No,
he would have to go Italian, wouldn't he? Because he'd get like a
spag bol.
Yeah.
Standard.
Michelin star French restaurant.
I don't know what he would have if he was in France. To be honest with you.
How bad was Drinkwater today, Craig? Did you ever have a match like he had?
Yeah. He wasn't. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. He was thrown in. He's hardly played any football. He's been on loan. He wasn't one at Chelsea. Then he went on loan. He was at Burley. Hardly get any game time. He's not fit, and he's in against Man City. It's tough to do that. You can make, and he did. He looked a little foolish, and that can happen.
I got to tell you, it was one of those moments in which, that's where Danny Drinkwater is.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an Aston Villa now. This guy who was so important to Leicester's title. he just disappeared from the face of the earth and appears losing the ball inside his own 18-yard box and then Riyad Mahrez scoring. Rough game for him, but for all Aston Villa. And all those fans, 20 minutes in, they were all going home.
Do you have a feeling it's going to be that sort of day? Like early on, you're thinking, I'm not quite where I want to be.
Well, in all fairness, I think his is a lot down to probably some nerves, even for somebody who's been there, because he hasn't played for a while. He's at a new club against one of the best in the country, and you know as a professional you're not up to speed.
Right.
And you start making some mistakes, and then the crowd get on your back, and you start thinking about it, and you get pressurised because they're closing you down all the time. And so you know. So from his perspective, I don't really blame the player. In fact, I would blame more the management in putting them in. But yeah, I've been in that situation when fully fit. Sometimes you just have one of those days.
And here's the thing.
It's horrible. It won't go away either.
When all you want to do is complete a 5-yard pass to feel good about yourself, Manchester City is all over you.
Right.
So it's not the right team to trying to look or search for confidence. Tough game for everybody.
Frank, would you have tackled Morata like Valverde did today?
If I had to, I would have done that.
Yeah.
I know it's ugly. I know it's not something that I want to show to the fans, the young fans, but it's a professional sport, and you know that it's something you can do, and you have to accept the circumstances of it. And yeah, I would have done that for sure.
You know who appreciated that tackle?
Simeone. Yeah.
When Valverde came out, the field, hey, that's a good play, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
He knew.
But you would have done it, yeah? Would you?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, he's obviously factored in when it was.
Yeah, of course. 5 minutes to go in extra time.
20 minutes into the first half.
Yeah.
Different matter.
Yeah.
But it's a reaction. Frank would have talked Morata. I reckon he had about 7 seconds there before. Yeah, Frank could have talked him out of it.
You think so?
Before making the tackle. Oh yeah. Yeah.
How good was Courtois?
Good.
He was all right, wasn't he?
But it's what you expect him to be. I mean, in the game, didn't have many saves to make. One on Morata in the near post, and then a couple of extra time. But it's what you expect Thibaut Courtois to be. The thing is that the bar that he has set for himself at Real Madrid has been so low that now when you actually see a solid game from him, you go, hey, he's here, he's for real.
Final question. Frank, it's a long one. Concentrate. Do you think France can win the European Championship this summer with an ageing Giroud as their number 9? There are some strong back lines in the competition, and I feel Mbappe and Griezmann aren't quite the fit. Should Benzema be recalled if he helps Madrid lift the Champions League?
Well, so first, I think, yes, France can win the European Championship, but they're not the only one. So we have to be humble if we want to be able to win it. Then
wait, Frank, you just say you're French, you're the best in everything. Now don't tell me you're going to be humble in order to win it.
I was talking about food and wine. I'm not talking about football. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yes, it's possible to win against without Giroud. Yes, Mbappe and Griezmann can do the job. And what was the last part of it?
Should Benzema be recalled?
About the last part. Benzema, it's over.
Yeah.
As long as Deschamps will be the coach, Benzema will never be back with the national team. So it's not something we should discuss until Deschamps leaves the head of the national team.
That's it. That's the end of extra time. We're done. Ali, you're going to LA.